Most seniors believe they're drinking enough water. But what if I told you that how you drink it matters just as much as how much? You see, I used to think I had it all figured out. I drank when I felt thirsty. Sometimes I'd skip it altogether if I was too busy. Other times I'd drink a whole bottle in one go to catch up. It felt like a small detail, but it wasn't. Everything changed the day I nearly fainted during a walk to the market. I hadn't done anything extreme. It was a warm morning, I hadn't eaten much, and I certainly hadn't had any water. By the time I reached the corner shop, my vision blurred and my knees wobbled. A kind young man helped me to a bench. I sat there, embarrassed and confused, sipping slowly from the bottle he handed me. And that's when I realized I wasn't aging poorly. I was hydrating poorly. I didn't know it then, but most people over 60 are mildly dehydrated every single day, and they don't even know it. Because the warning signs aren't always loud. Sometimes it's just a bit of fatigue in the afternoon. Sometimes it's a foggy mind. Sometimes it's a headache you brush off as just getting old. But it's not age, it's neglect. Silent, unintentional, habitual neglect. And once I started to understand what water really does for an aging body, I never looked at a glass of it the same way again. Today I want to tell you what I wish someone had told me sooner, not just how much water you need, but how to drink it in a way that supports your brain, your balance, your heart, and your energy. Let's begin with the truth that no one likes to say out loud. Thirst is not reliable after 60. Your body's thirst mechanism, that natural urge to drink, becomes less sensitive with age. That means you could be 10 or 15% dehydrated and not feel the urge to drink at all. It's like the body goes quiet, even as the need grows louder. So if you're only drinking when you're thirsty, you're likely already behind. I was guilty of that. I thought, if I'm not thirsty, I must be fine. But then I started noticing patterns. Dry mouth in the morning, sluggishness in the afternoon, irritability that didn't seem tied to anything. I began connecting the dots, and I realized I had made one of the most common hydration mistakes seniors make. Drinking only when thirsty isn't enough. You need a rhythm, a practice, a routine that serves you before the symptoms even show up. Now let me tell you about another mistake I used to make, one that's less talked about. It's drinking too much water at once. There was a time I'd forget to hydrate all day, so I'd come home, chug a tall glass, then another. I thought I was fixing the problem, but I wasn't. Drinking a lot of water quickly can actually stress the kidneys. It dilutes your blood sodium levels, which can make you feel weak, lightheaded, or even confused. It's called hyponatremia, and while it's more common in athletes or during extreme heat, it can happen to anyone who drinks too much too fast, especially if they've been dehydrated for hours. Instead, I learned to sip. Small, steady amounts throughout the day. A glass when I wake up, a few sips mid-morning, a cup with lunch, another in the afternoon, and one small glass in the evening. That rhythm feels more like care than correction. Now, if you're finding this helpful so far, if it's making you reflect on your own habits, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. Your support helps us keep sharing this kind of real, life-giving wisdom. Let's keep going. Because there's another hidden danger most people overlook, drinking water during meals, and I mean too much water. Now don't get me wrong. A few sips with food is fine. But when you drink a large glass or two with your meal, it can dilute your stomach acid, and that weakens digestion. I learned this the hard way. I used to drink an entire glass of water with every bite of food. I thought it helped things go down easier. But all it did was make my stomach feel bloated, and I often had indigestion afterward. Now I drink most of my water between meals, not with them. And when I do sip during meals, I keep it light, just enough to moisten the bite. It's a small adjustment, but it made a big difference in how I felt afterward. Another mistake I see far too often, one I made myself, is avoiding water in the evening out of fear of nighttime bathroom trips. I understand the concern. No one wants to be up every 2 hours. But cutting off all fluids after 6 p.m. leaves many seniors underhydrated when they need to be resting and repairing. The key is balance. Don't drink a big glass right before bed, but don't avoid it entirely either. Try sipping a half glass about an hour before bedtime. Just enough to stay hydrated without waking you up in the middle of the night. And finally, perhaps the sneakiest mistake of them all, believing that tea, coffee, or soda count as hydration. While these drinks do contain water, many of them act as diuretics, meaning they make you urinate more, not less. Caffeine, especially in large amounts, can pull more water from your system than it adds. I used to rely on tea all morning, thinking it was enough. But I still felt tired, foggy, and parched by noon. Once I started drinking plain water in the morning, just one full glass before anything else, the difference was immediate. Clearer thinking, smoother digestion, even my balance felt steadier when I stood up. These aren't coincidences. They're the results of honoring what your body really needs. And after 60, what it needs is simple, steady, respectful hydration. In the next part of this story, I'll share what the right water routine actually looks like. Not just the amount, but the timing, the quality, and how to listen to your body as it changes. But for now, take this with you. Water is not a background habit. It is a life-giving ritual. And how you drink it, when, how much, how often, shapes how you age, how you think, and how you feel. Don't wait for thirst. Don't wait for dizziness. Don't wait for the warning signs. Start now. Start small. And let water become your quiet companion on the path to longevity. Your body is listening. It always has been. Now it's your turn to answer back with care. Let's talk now about how to do it right. Because once I stopped making the common mistakes, I had to ask myself, what should hydration look like for someone like me in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s? And what I discovered is that drinking water well isn't about how much you drink in one sitting. It's about creating a quiet rhythm that your body can count on. After a certain age, your system changes. The body holds on to less water. Your skin gets drier. Joints feel tighter. Memory gets fuzzier. Your kidneys don't filter quite the way they used to. But the good news? Your body still knows how to respond to kindness. And water, when given gently and consistently, is a kind of kindness. So here's how I built my water routine. A simple practice, not a strict rulebook. It starts first thing in the morning, before coffee, before food, before anything. 1 glass of room temperature water. Not ice cold, not gulped, just steady and smooth. That first glass feels like a quiet handshake between me and the day. It rehydrates the body after a long sleep. It gets your brain cells talking again. It primes the digestive system and even helps flush out waste that built up overnight. If you do only one thing differently after today, let it be this. Drink a full glass of water as soon as you wake up. Give your body that soft reminder that the day has begun. After that, I spread it out. I keep a cup or bottle nearby, and every hour or so I take a few sips. Just enough to stay ahead of thirst. Not so much that I feel sloshy. Mid-morning, I drink again, often with a slice of lemon, not just for taste. The lemon helps stimulate digestion and gives a small boost of vitamin C. Before lunch, I pause and sip again. Not too close to the meal, just enough to gently prepare the system. I found that drinking 30 minutes before I eat helps me feel satisfied with smaller portions, and I don't bloat the way I used to. In the early afternoon, especially if I've been sitting for a while, I stretch a little and hydrate again. This is usually when the body starts to droop. We've all felt it, that post-lunch fog. And often it's not hunger or tiredness. It's dehydration. Late afternoon, I have what I call my reset water. Just a glass to clear the mental clutter. Helps me reset my mind if I'm reading or writing. Then in the evening, I slow it down. I don't avoid water entirely, but I'm mindful. I sip a half glass around dinner. And if I'm thirsty later, I'll take just a few slow sips, not a full cup, to avoid nighttime trips to the bathroom. This pacing, steady, light, intentional, changed my life more than any medication ever did. Now some people ask me, how much should I drink in total? And here's the truth. There's no perfect number. The old 8 glasses a day rule is too general. What matters more is how you drink when you drink and how your body responds. But if you're looking for a ballpark, most seniors should aim for about 1.5 to 2 liters a day. That's around 6 to 8 cups, more if it's hot, more if you're on certain medications, less if you're eating a lot of water-rich foods. Which brings me to something people often forget. You don't have to drink all your water. You can eat it too. Cucumbers, melons, leafy greens, soups, broths, herbal teas, even oatmeal made with water adds to your total intake. I like to think of food as part of my hydration strategy. A bowl of soup at lunch, a salad with crunchy veggies, a slice of watermelon in summer. These foods hydrate in a gentler way. They take longer to digest, and the water they carry is released slowly. They're like sipping, but with flavor and fiber. Now I want to talk about something most people overlook, and that's electrolyte balance. If you drink a lot of water but don't get enough sodium, potassium, or magnesium, your body can actually become out of balance. This happened to me once. I was feeling tired all the time, even though I was hydrating well. A doctor suggested I try adding a pinch of sea salt to my morning water. At first I thought it was odd, but I tried it. And within a few days I felt steadier, more alert, less lightheaded when I stood up. Later I added magnesium, just a small supplement after dinner, and my sleep improved. Sometimes it's not about more water, it's about the right kind of hydration. If you're on medications that affect your kidneys, or if you've been told to limit fluids, always speak to your doctor. But don't assume your tiredness is just aging. Sometimes it's imbalance, and that can be corrected. If this part of the video has sparked something in you, a question, a realization, a memory, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. This channel isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about supporting what's still strong. It's about reminding ourselves that even the simplest rituals, like a glass of water, can bring back clarity, comfort, and strength. Now, before I leave you today, I want to share a quick story. A few years ago, I visited an old friend in the hospital. He'd been admitted for confusion and weakness. The tests came back fine. But the doctor quietly asked him, "How much water do you usually drink?" His answer, "I don't know. I drink when I feel like it." That was the issue. Nothing more. Within 24 hours of consistent hydration, his thinking was clearer, his posture better, and his appetite returned. It wasn't a miracle, it was water. So tomorrow morning, pour that glass, hold it like it matters because it does. Let it remind you that your health isn't built on big leaps. It's built on steady steps, on daily choices, on morning kindness. Your body is always listening. Give it something good to hear. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you in the next breath, in the next sip, in the next sunrise that brings us all closer to the life we still want to live, clear, steady, and fully awake. Let's take a moment to talk about something that sneaks up on many of us after 60. Mild dehydration. The kind you don't feel until your body is already struggling. The kind that doesn't knock you down right away, but chips away slowly at your strength, clarity, and even your safety. Most people think of dehydration as something dramatic, dry mouth, dizziness, or heat exhaustion. But in older adults, it's often much quieter than that. Sometimes it shows up as a little more forgetfulness. Sometimes it's a nagging headache that won't go away. Sometimes it's getting up too fast and feeling like the room is tilting. I've had all three, and I didn't realize at the time that water, or the lack of it, was at the root. You see, the older we get, the more our internal alarm system starts to quiet down. We don't feel thirsty as easily. Our kidneys don't conserve water as efficiently. Our muscles, which hold most of our water, begin to shrink. And if we're on medication for blood pressure or heart health, that can complicate things further. So when you skip a few glasses here and there, it may not feel like much, but it adds up, and the effects can be serious. I want to walk you through some of the signs to look for, because the earlier you catch them, the easier they are to correct. 1. Constant fatigue. If you find yourself tired for no clear reason, not just sleepy, but physically sluggish, it might not be age. It might be water. Even mild dehydration reduces circulation, which means your cells get less oxygen. And less oxygen means less energy. 2. Mental fog or forgetfulness. I've had mornings where I couldn't remember why I walked into a room, or where I left my keys. And I used to brush it off as senior moments. But brain cells are highly sensitive to hydration levels. Even a 1–2% drop can affect memory, concentration, and mood. 3. Muscle cramps or stiffness. If you wake up with tight legs or your muscles seize up during the day, lack of water and minerals may be to blame. Water helps regulate electrolytes, and without balance, your muscles can rebel. 4. Dry skin. That no lotion fixes. Hydrating from the outside is good, but your skin's real glow comes from within. When your body is low on water, it prioritizes organs over skin. That leaves your skin dry, papery, or dull no matter how much cream you apply. 5. Constipation or sluggish digestion. Water is like oil in an engine. It keeps things moving. If your digestion feels slow, bloated, or uncomfortable, A lack of water may be the root. Fiber only works when it has enough fluid to move through. 6. Dizziness, especially when standing. Orthostatic hypotension, that lightheaded feeling when rising, is common in seniors. Often, it's a sign your blood volume is too low from dehydration. Even mild fluid loss can reduce blood pressure. 7. Frequent UTIs or kidney trouble. Your kidneys are the body's filters. They rely on steady water intake to flush toxins and maintain balance. Dehydration makes their job harder and can lead to infections or long-term issues. These aren't just medical concerns. They affect quality of life. Your independence, your confidence, the way you carry yourself in the world. And here's something many people miss. Hydration doesn't just affect the physical, it touches your emotions. When I was underhydrated, I noticed I was more irritable, more anxious, less patient with myself and others. I didn't bounce back as easily from little frustrations. My world felt smaller, heavier. But when I started drinking water with care, not just when I remembered, but as a daily ritual, something shifted. I felt lighter, I thought more clearly, I walked taller. I don't say this to be dramatic, I say it because I lived it. There's dignity in meeting your needs, there's grace in caring for your vessel. And hydration, though it may seem basic, is one of the oldest, truest ways to do that. If you're watching this and wondering if maybe you've been a little off lately, a little more tired, a little more forgetful, a little less steady, try this. Tomorrow, write down how much water you drink, not to judge, just to notice. Then slowly build a rhythm, a sip in the morning, a glass before lunch, a few sips mid-afternoon. Hydration doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. And if this message resonates with you, if you feel even a little seen or supported, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. Because what we're building here isn't just another health channel. It's a quiet revolution, a return to simple wisdom, a reminder that aging isn't about loss, it's about learning how to care more deeply with more intention. Tomorrow, when you lift your glass, know that it's more than water. It's a promise, to your mind, to your body, to your life. And that promise begins with one quiet choice to care. Thank you for choosing to care today. I'll be here next time with another story, another breath, another step in the beautiful path of aging well. There's a funny thing about aging. People start offering you advice you never asked for, and they stop offering you the truths you actually need. And when it comes to hydration, I've heard just about every myth in the book. Don't drink after 6 p.m. or you'll be up all night. 8 glasses a day or else. If you're not thirsty, you don't need it. Tea and coffee count the same as water. I believed a few of those myths myself. But the older I got, and the more I started listening to my own body instead of old rules, the more I understood what was really true. Let's clear up a few of these myths, because they've caused more harm than good for people our age. Myth 1, if you're not thirsty, you don't need water. That might have been true when we were younger, but after 60, our thirst reflex gets dull. It's like a smoke alarm with dead batteries. The fire is still there, but the warning doesn't sound. By the time you feel thirsty, you may already be dehydrated, so we need to rely on rhythm, not instinct. Myth 2, you need exactly 8 glasses a day. This number came from an old guideline, and it wasn't even meant for everyone. The real answer? It depends on your size, your activity, your climate, your food, your medications. Some days I drink 6 glasses. Some days I drink 9. What matters is how I feel, clear-headed, steady, and alert. Let your body guide you. Let your habits support you. Myth 3. Tea and coffee count as hydration. Only partly true. They do contain water, yes. But the caffeine in them can be dehydrating, especially in excess. I still enjoy my morning tea, but I no longer count it toward my hydration. I have my water before my tea, not instead of it. Myth 4. Drinking after 6 p.m. is always bad. It's true that too much water late in the day can disturb sleep. But cutting off water too early can leave you sluggish, dry-mouthed, or cramping overnight. Instead of a hard cutoff, I now aim for a half glass in the evening, just enough to support my body without overwhelming it. That balance is the key. Myth 5. Seniors don't need as much water as younger people. Actually, we might need it more, because our body holds less water naturally. Our skin, joints, and organs depend on steady replenishment. We can't afford to wait until we're parched. Once I let go of these myths, something amazing happened. I stopped fearing water. I started respecting it. And in that shift, I reclaimed a bit of power over how I age. Because here's something no one told me until much later: staying hydrated isn't just about avoiding problems. It's about preserving freedom. Let me explain. When you're well hydrated, you move better, you fall less. Your joints are smoother, your energy is higher, your brain is sharper, your digestion works like it should, you sleep more soundly. You feel more connected to your own rhythm. In short, you're more independent. Hydration supports mobility, and mobility is the cornerstone of freedom after 60. I've known too many people who lost their independence not because of illness, but because of small things that stacked up. Fatigue, imbalance, confusion, weakness. And behind some of those, chronic dehydration, not always, but often enough to pay attention. A glass of water might not look like much, but over time it becomes a pillar of strength. And here's the best part: it's free, it's available, and it's completely within your control. You don't need a special routine or fancy equipment. You just need the intention, the awareness. When I changed my mindset about water, I changed how I started my days. No longer rushing, no longer skipping. Just sitting with my glass in the morning light and letting it remind me, I'm still in this body. I'm still a part of this day, and I still get to care. That's where so much of our strength lies, not in doing more, but in caring better. If this message lands somewhere in your heart, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. What we're building here isn't about quick fixes. It's about long-term respect for our bodies, our stories, and our choices. In the next part, I'll share how hydration became a turning point in my life, not just physically, but emotionally. Because the moment I made water a ritual, I began to feel like myself again. Not just an older version, but a wiser one. And that's a feeling worth holding onto. There was a time in my life not too long ago when I felt like I was fading. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. My energy dipped, my patience thinned. My days began to blur together like one long nap I couldn't wake up from. I still got out of bed, still dressed, cooked, called my children, but something was missing. I couldn't name it at first, I just felt smaller, dull. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed one morning, sunlight trying to crawl across the floor. And for some reason, I began to cry. No big reason, no tragic event. Just this quiet grief, a feeling like I was slipping away from my own life. That was the day I reached for a glass of water. I know how that sounds, as if a sip of water could undo that kind of heaviness. But it wasn't the water itself, it was the moment I decided to care. To care even a little. That small act cracked something open in me, not a flood, just a trickle of self-kindness. I drank the water, then I sat in the sun for a minute. Then I made myself a small breakfast. The next day I did it again. It became my ritual: water, light, food, breath. Not because someone told me to, but because my soul was asking for rhythm. There's a kind of loneliness that comes with aging. Even when you're not alone. Even when you have family, friends, a community, it's the loneliness of not feeling vital, of not feeling present in your own skin. Hydration, for me, became more than a physical practice. It became a gateway to remembering that I mattered, that my body still deserved gentleness, that I could still show up for myself in small ways. Every glass of water became a reminder, I am not done yet. And over time, I noticed something else happening. I began to remember things more easily. I smiled at strangers again. I cooked with a little more care. I started walking to the park each morning, not to exercise, but to greet the day. It didn't happen all at once, but it did happen, and it began with one glass. This is what I want you to know. Sometimes the smallest act is the one that starts the biggest return. Sometimes, choosing to drink a glass of water not because you're thirsty, but because you're worth it, is the bravest thing you'll do all day. And if you've been feeling tired, distant, disconnected, maybe what you need isn't a new supplement or a complicated routine. Maybe it's just this: water in the morning, water in the afternoon, water before you forget. A steady trickle of self-respect. A return to rhythm. If you've been following this series and it sparked something in you, even just a flicker, I hope you'll like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. Because what we're doing here is more than sharing tips. We're remembering how to live, with intention, with love, with care. In the final part of this series, I'll leave you with a few lasting tools, reminders to keep by your bedside, your kitchen sink, or your heart, so you never forget again how deeply something as simple as water can restore your life. But for now, I invite you to pause, pour yourself a glass, drink slowly, and let the care soak in. You're still here, and that still matters. You've come this far with me, so let's finish this together, not with urgency, but with grace. This final piece is not a lecture. It's a blessing. Because hydration, as we've come to see, is more than just a health tip. It's a ritual, a reminder, a practice of self-respect that begins anew every single day. So I want to leave you with a few tools, not rules, just gentle anchors. Something you can return to on days when the world feels too fast or when your body feels too heavy. Let's begin with this. One, create a water spot. Pick one place in your home, maybe your nightstand, your kitchen counter, or beside your favorite chair. Place a clean glass or bottle there. Always keep it filled. Let it be a visual invitation, not a chore, but a gift. Every time you see it, let it whisper to you, I'm still here, and I still deserve care. 2, start and end with water. Before your feet touch the floor in the morning, drink a few sips. Before you rest at night, do the same. This bookends your day with presence. You may still have a full to-do list in between, but at the beginning and the end, you've told your body, I am listening. 3, write a reminder that matters on a sticky note, in a journal, on a calendar, something like, water is my daily kindness. I hydrate because I'm still growing. A sip of water is a step toward peace. Place it somewhere you'll see it. Let it feel like a quiet friend. 4, forgive the missed days. There will be days you forget, days you're too tired, days you drink too little or too late. Don't let those days define you. Just return. The next sip is always waiting. You're not behind, you're just returning. Again and again. 5, celebrate the small wins. Did you drink water before coffee today? Did you remember to sip in the afternoon? Did you pause and feel grateful for your body? Celebrate it. Smile. Maybe even write it down. Because aging well is not about perfection. It's about paying attention. And attention is love in slow motion. I want to share something I wrote for myself, something I now keep taped inside my kitchen cabinet. Drink water like you belong here, like the earth still needs you, like this body is still a miracle, like your story isn't finished. You are not too old to begin again. You are not too late to feel well. The quiet strength of water is that it changes things slowly, drop by drop, moment by moment, until one day you look up and realize you feel like you again. So here we are at the end of this journey, but also the beginning. If this series has stirred something in you, if it's reminded you of your strength, your worth, your presence, please like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. Leave a comment below. What's the one hydration habit you'll carry forward starting tomorrow? Let's build something real here, not just content, but a community. A place where aging is not feared, but honored. Aging doesn't mean fading, it means refining. And water, in its quiet way, is part of that refinement. So tomorrow morning, when you lift your glass, do it with reverence, and know that you're not alone. You are part of something gentle and growing. And I'll be right here with you, cup in hand, heart open, ready to greet the day again. To life, to light, to water, and to the journey that continues with every sip.